Hello, everybody. I'm Overhaul, and today we'll be reviewing Air Force Chapter 254. The usual disclaimer at the beginning of my videos. I am not a kid-specific channel. Although the topics I discuss might look like they're for kids, it's very likely I will either start using words that are not appropriate, describing things that are not appropriate, or just in general speaking things that are not appropriate. So with that said, if you're a child, I would advise you not to watch this video. As for everybody else, let's get into the review. So yeah, we start this chapter off with what I feel like a lot of people have been waiting for, and that's with the return of the Joker. So yeah, I would also like to mention the fact that Oku might make a little mention of the fact that Joker has been gone for a while, because he even says, while the apocalypse was happening, what was Joker doing? Or something on those lines, like kind of making a meta joke about the fact that Joker was in the story for a while. Or at least not in the final battle. So yeah, it's a little bit funny. Now we start with him looking around and talking about how he kind of like sees a door through through the burnt eye that he and Burns have, because he calls it, I can see it from your eye, something like that's what he's meant. How he can see the door and see the despair. We'll get into that later a little bit. But now we cut to Company 5, which we haven't seen in a while, so it's kind of good that we see them, since, they are, I would say, like, one of the more important ones. I guess debatably they are either the second most important or the third most important. It really depends on your perspective on Company 1, and I guess also Company 7. But yeah, we cut to them, and we see Hibara like just looking around, kind of in shock, not really sure what to do. And then that little scientist guy that's in Company 5, I think the guy whose I think name is something about Conehead, like very like very literal, with the where the name was inspired by. And we see him saying, all the research you've been working on, all the things just referring to the fact that he was investigating the doppelgangers, it's happening in Company 5 as well. And then we see, cut to like a scene where we see one of the Angel Company 5 Angel 3s being kind of like, oh, we're doing it, kind of have that kind of perspective. And the one other one comforting her, while a soldier saying, Fifth Angel's 3, we need your help. And then we see a doppelganger of her, and then we cut to screaming. I mean, it's not clear if the screaming is from her. It could just be a representation of what's happening. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it is her, because the panels are inlined, which I just have to mention something about the Fifth Angel 3. Are they humans? Because when I started the series, I thought they were copies, clones of one another, because how the same they are in terms of appearance and body structure. But then there are some images of them apparently not being in in those Fifth Angels 3 outfits, but they don't really look as similar as they do when they are dressed like Fifth Angels 3. Like, they honestly look pretty different, like different body size or height, a bit of different hair, but these ones look completely and utterly the same. So, what are they? I mean, that's not really an important thing to worry about, and honestly, they are pretty minor characters. I mean, for God's sakes, the only purpose they had was literally just to be a more glorified beat up by Company 8 in their versus Company 5 arc, but still, what are they? I mean, humans? Clones or whatnot? I mean, there's definitely, I would say, possibility for that kind of research. In fact, between captains like Giovanni apparently transplanting his brain into a bug, it's even possible, but still, like, what are they? So after we cut away from, I guess, 150 Angel 3 dying, I mean, that was in the arm, so does that mean there was another doppelganger that killed the other one? Or, again, I'm not really sure. In fact, I'm not even sure what the Force is doing with these doppelgangers that are popping out everywhere. But yeah, we cut back to the Amaterasu with Company 5, well, with Company 8 and Arrow. And then we see them, like, questioning what to do, and the Joker shows up, and he basically only serves for us to get the, explanation to what the goal is, because he apparently only figured out, just for him to appear, because even Joker in the chapter states, yeah, you guys pretty much didn't need me. In fact, again, I'm pretty sure this was more Okubo just like referencing the fact people wanted Joker for this so long, so he just decided to have him in and be the one to explain it. Which to me, it sounds like they overly specify what's going on. But anyway, it's explained in this chapter that apparently my assumption of the pillars, this God sphere and all that was actually wrong. These are not the emotions that are in charge of judging humanity, but actually these are the emotions humanity has that leads to despair. Like fear, like all these 8 pillars are emotions that lead to despair, and now all the people are feeling that through fear, which is why everyone who feels fear of the Fire Force is becoming a doppelganger or being killed by a doppelganger, and so on and so forth. So that explains it a lot better than my guess. And it also explained that the only thing that could really stop it is hope. And they say that Obi's voice would actually be the voice of hope, since, he's pretty inspiring guy and captain. Now, I would honestly like to question. Now, this actually does make sense if we go back and think about it, how a lot of the story up to this point was what you can imagine. So it would make sense that if the population would imagine despair, they would legitimately get the apocalypse on. It would straight up die. Which explains the final 2 infernos, or the whole pillars and giant infernos, really well. Because think about it, in a pretty consistent manner, you get pillars, and 6 of those pillars had giant titans walking around destroying everything, while the final 2 had demons and a titan. I mean, first, a guy who I believe was known as a pretty destructive and violent individual. He was, and you have him fight right in the Emperor's Sky. So yeah, that's pretty destructive. And then you have that person that everyone viewed like, well, basically like God, if we're being totally honest, or Jesus Christ, or whatever you want to call him. Which is very literal in the story, considering how inspired it is by those characters, by these individuals in history. So yeah, and then you have to have him die for it. So it makes sense why everything would go the way it is. Like, most people right now are either scared, are angry at the fact that Fire Force failed, and the fact that Jesus Messiah died. So then explain, like, a lot of people are going to feel at least one of these. I feel like fear and I guess also apathy, considering there was that woman in the previous chapter that was just praying, like, completely, like, ignoring the fact there's a giant fire everywhere. But I feel like most people right now probably just filled with fear, if we're being totally honest. In fact, I'm not really sure if madness or this despair, I believe, was the final one. Which is funny how all these emotions lead to despair, and yet despair is amongst these pillars of emotions. So, yeah. That's basically the gist of it. And we get some very fun banter between the characters, like nothing anything too comedic, but it's like fun to see how he is completely like supporting and how Company 8 doesn't believe in despair. And a little like even though he doesn't know much about Arrow, he still has like those like liked or lick however you want to pronounce it. Gives characters like little nicknames like Arthur Coon and Arrow Sun in this case. So it's funny how he always gave Arrow that nickname. You know, I really don't which although I believe he calls Joker just Joker, which is a bit weird. But yeah. So everyone agrees to get Obi's voice in connection since other companies really don't have anything against Obi. Like Company 2 was still willing to Company 2 was still willing to talk to him. Company 5 and 4 are on their side. So basically the idea is right now to talk to other companies to tell them do not lose hope. I'm guessing I gotta explain in a little more detail. Like that eyeball most likely is getting stronger and more powerful and destroys everything because we feel despair right now. No, and if we remove despair and give it something like hope, we'll be able to prevent it. It's a theory, but it's basically the best we got. And I feel like a lot of people would probably say it because it is a little like convenient. Like the final two are really like the final two Infernals were really like on the nose what they need. Or weird if you compare them to the rest. I mean seriously, no like other extremely monstrous individual people fought. Just like just two people who people are well known and people hate and people don't want one they hate and feel like he's gonna kill them and the other one they don't want to see killed. So yeah. I wonder if Benny Marvel's doppelganger will show up in this arc. I just remember that right now that in that battle with Hibachi, I believe we see kind of like a little preview of what Benny Marvel's doppelganger would look like. Oh, but I am curious about will he show up because I don't really see Benny Marvel like feeling despair or fear. Like maybe if Connor dies, that's maybe what will bring the doppelganger, but I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, basically the plan right now is just communicate with other companies and hope that their idea works. Basically, I mean, again, I'm not exactly sure that much that will work, but who knows? Now, the next thing that we have is we cut to Arthur and Vulcan or Merlin and Arthur. So Arthur walks to Vulcan and says and then cuts himself up to say Merlin. I guess even he's kind of starting to be aware of how his power works. That more he believes in that world, the more powerful he gets. So maybe even now he's trying to like completely like go into his delusion, like referring to people. Maybe he's gonna start referring to everyone by some kind of name that in Arthur's mythology. Like he's gonna refer to Vulcan as Merlin. He's gonna refer to Arrow as. Honestly, I'm not all that familiar with Arthur's mythology, but so I'm not exactly sure on who. Maybe some of them he'll refer to as by some knight in the Merlin story. I mean, there's been a lot of them. I mean, Lancelot, Percival, Ironside. Like there are a lot of names. I mean, just watch 796 if you need an idea on the names. But yeah, I'm gonna say that's what's going to be happening now, which I do wonder if that will help as much. But yeah. So Arthur states that although you made true Excalibur, I still wasn't able to beat him. It was still nothing. It wasn't enough. And he says, I will not fall into despair. And he says to him that we need to go to the Holy Land of the Eighth. So I'm guessing he's gonna try to like go completely like, try to even himself make that scenario in the scenario, like make a completely like Arthur type of thing, like their main castle, his first homeland is gonna be in danger because this will surprise you all, but Dragon is alive. And from what it seems like, he literally is undamaged, as Arthur stated. That was surprising because I would assume something that can blast you into outer space would at least burn your body, but nope. Dragon is completely fine. So yeah, I'm guessing Arthur and Vulcan are gonna head out to the to the 8th and probably making some kind of communication device in the process for Obi to, or no, I actually think, would they need, was it ever stated if all the companies have a way to communicate with themselves directly? Because I don't think they actually do have a way to communicate with themselves directly. I maybe like 5 and 7, but, and maybe even 4, but as for the rest, I'm not all that sure. So yeah. Basically I'm guessing is either they'll find a way to broadcast Obi's message. Obi will make a message that will be broadcasted to the world to give them hope. Well, I'm guessing the rest of the Fire Force is gonna go on helping, like Lisa, Arrow, Hinoa, Maki, Tamaki. Maybe one of them is gonna stay with Obi and protect them so he won't be in danger of being attacked or killed by a bunch of Infernos. But who really knows? So they go on there. I'm guessing they separate, and Arthur and Vulcan go to the 8th base. Then we got to the outer space where we see Dragon, and he basically, and he honestly is pretty chill right now. He's like, I guess this is, I guess I'm gonna be a star. I mean, being in space is not so bad, which is just hilarious. Like this guy is literally he's literally breathing in space. Like I don't think that's how powerful Dragon is. I think that just comes off ridiculous. Like literally, Dragon. I mean, Dragon is like a really. He's not dressed really at all. He literally, I believe, just has 2 giant armor plates on him, and a bit and like a little bit of what honestly look like just a cape from a white clad soldier around his legs. So it's kind of covered. Like it's not real, and a scarf. That's it. And he's just in space, breathing and being like, yeah, I get this is being how it feels to be in space, huh? Yeah, I think I might have a star from now on. Like what? So, yeah. And then when he passes the moon, another the ridiculous sight. Like I cannot get over how ridiculous this looks. So he then imagines Arthur standing there with the last look he had before he got blasted away, and he's like, how can you look at a dragon with no despair? And he flies back on Earth. Yeah, that's literally, he makes wings and just propels himself towards Earth. What the fuck are we doing? So, yeah, the battle is going on. Is going to, a rematch or a continuation of the fight is going to happen, and it's gonna be ridiculous and as epic as ever. Where's Ritsu anyways? Like, Chara is very likely dead, even it was pretty much almost stated that he was dead. But where's Ritsu? If I can remember, where are the Specialized Cataclysm Force? I mean, aren't those guys supposed to do something? Maybe they're gonna try to stop Obi and the Company 5. Well, Company A will take them down. Wait a minute. I believe there are 6 members of Specialized Cataclysm Force. And then I believe right now the fires are Arrow, Maki, Tamaki, Lisa, Inoa, and maybe Joker. And I believe there are 6 members of the. So does that mean that Joker, Arrow, and the rest and of the Avengers 8 are gonna fight the Cataclysm Specialists first? I suppose it makes sense. I mean, they are still there. I feel like they are going to be taken down, but who knows? Tell me in the comments below if you think the Cataclysm Specialist Force is gonna fight the rest of the fighters of Company 8. So yeah. Now the title for the next chapter is gonna be the Seventh Pillar, which, as you're aware, is Sister Sumeria, the one who represents disgust. So I guess we're gonna get more of a backstory in the next chapter, or at least like maybe it's gonna be with like chapters are gonna be moving, but it's gonna be like primarily focusing on the backstory with Sister Sumeria. Or maybe it's gonna be the Cataclysm Force like recounting what's happened, because they don't really strike me as humans, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Or maybe Rita's gonna recap. I'm not exactly sure. It's probably just gonna focus on Sumeria in some way. So yeah, that's pretty much the chapter. And all in all, I think it's a pretty like average chapter. It's nothing real that crazy. It's like a pretty standard. Alright, get a new mission, a way to stop it, and start moving, or vaguely start moving. So yeah, it's pretty much like nothing. So with that said, I hope you liked this video. I hope you're gonna leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you next time. Bye.